Welcome to the Division 2 on the PlayStation 4. In this video we're going to be comparing the Division 2 with the original Division to Division 1. And I've got to say, although this is only just the open beta, which I guess you could say is probably pretty close to a release build of the game, the beta has been very impressive indeed. And as you can see, the game looks really good. This is Washington DC, this is Division 2. But if we go back and we have a quick look at New York, this brings back memories in the Division 1. You'd see that, Ubisoft, they're using the same engine. It's all very similar. It's almost like the Division 2 is just saying, right, okay, we're done with New York. We did what we needed to do, and now we're transferring ourselves to Washington DC. And what we're going to be doing in Washington is we're going to be doing all those things that we were doing in New York City. So we're going to be doing story missions to find out what happens. We're going to be clearing up assigned missions. We're going to be finding audio logs and holographic crime scene evidence to fill in the backstory, because that's kind of the way the Division tells you what's been going on. It doesn't directly tell you, just tells you with all these sort of things that you find. And we're going to be doing the same in Washington DC, but we're going to be making it bigger, and we're going to give you more things to do, a more variety of things to do, and maybe a little better as well. I think the maps in Washington, I think there's more grit to them, a little bit more detail. But going back and looking at the Division 1 again, they're both absolutely amazing looking games. And what we've got in the Division 2 in the story, because this is what we're looking at now, the sort of single player versus environment mode, you're seeing an expansion of the things that you did in the Division. So not only we've got a base of operations, we're in the Division 2, it's the White House. Division 1, it was the big police station, wasn't it? We've now got these not safe houses, they're settlements, which you can go around and you can help, and they provide resources and people for your big base of operations. And it's all about that RPG side of the Division and the Division 2, which is building up your skills and your perks and your character so that you can go to more and more dangerous parts of the city. Because if you're not familiar with the way the Division works, although at heart it's a third-person shooter, the damage you do and the damage you can take is wholly dependent on the level of your character and the level of the guns that you pick up and the skills and perks. And so as you play the game and as you level up, you can then go into more dangerous areas. So for example, the first gun you get in the Division or the Division 2, you can't use that in the later areas because it's not powerful and it doesn't do enough damage, and you won't be able to take enough damage either because you won't have the right armour and the right skills. And the Division 2 is exactly the same with that. So I think it's a really interesting combination of shooter mechanics and the RPG kind of level up mechanics. It does lead to the situation where you have bullet spongy enemies, but I don't think that's bad, because that core mechanic, that core gameplay loop of the Division of cover-based shooting and shooting at people feels really good, sounds really good, and looks really good. And from what I've seen so far of the Division 2, playing several hours of it in the beta, very, very pleased. The Division 1 was probably one of my favourite games when it came out. I came in fairly late. I bought it about 6-7 months after it released, when it went cheap, and then spent an awful lot of time. There's so much content in the Division 1, and there will be with the Division 2. You can just see by the number of missions that you've got to do. That I'm very pleased with it and enjoyed the story, enjoyed the environment, enjoyed the look. And so the question is the Division 2 better than the Division 1? Well, it's too early to say at the moment whether it's any better, because this is just the open beta, and we'll have the day 1 patch, and we all know that the Division 1 when it came out was pretty rough. There was lots of bugs in it. People felt that the content wasn't there, although lots of these people were the people who kind of steamrolled their way through the story mission and then expected the end bit to be different. But by the time the Division 1 came near the end of its life cycle, although it's still going strong now, we had loads of story. With the dark zones were fully operational. We had all the DLC with the horde modes and stuff like that, and we'll be getting that with the Division 2. What I can say, however, is the Division 2 plays just as good for me as the Division 1. With one little caveat to that, and that's because there does seem to be a lot more stuff around the levels, like things that you can get cover against. When you're in some of the more hectic battles, where you're jumping from cover to cover, it is easy to kind of get stuck on the wrong side of cover or jump over cover by mistake. So you need to bear that in mind, that there's a lot more to some of the levels, especially when you're fighting the end bosses, and you need to be repositioning all the time to make sure that you don't come up, the enemies don't flank you. The AI, I think, in the Division 2 of the enemies seems to be a bit better. They're much more aggressive at getting round on your blind sides. And the maps you find yourself in often lead to situations where you are being attacked from lots of different angles. In Division 2, I love the addition of control points. These are areas which are controlled by the enemy, and you've got to go in and basically kill everybody, claim the control point, and then defend the control point, and then you can improve the control point by bringing the people who are there, bring the resources and stuff like that. That's really good. The side missions I've done so far seem interesting and different, but you know, they are the usual ones of, you know, rescue the hostage and stuff like that. But just like in the Division, although a lot of the time you're doing similar tasks like secure the supply drop or kill these people, because the environments are all different and there's different things to hide behind and different things to look at, it really does separate up that way. So overall, I'll say, comparing the Division 1 and the Division 2, the Division 2 seems to be more of the same, and that means more of an excellent third-person shooter in the story mode. Not really sure about the PvP yet, because I probably won't do much PvP. It's not really my thing in the Division. I prefer to play like PUBG or Battlefield or Call of Duty and stuff like that. I will have a crack at the Dark Zone, but for me that was always an extra to the Division, although the Dark Zone in the Division 1 was absolutely superb. I'm sure it'll be just as good in the Division 2, and if you enjoyed the Division 1, you will definitely enjoy the Division 2. So the acid question, so the $1 million question really is, you know, would I recommend you buy it around launch? And I would say it depends. If you've spent all your time playing the Division 1 and you still play it now and you're like, oh, this is the best game ever, and that's the game you spend your time in, I would say yes. If the Division, however, is a game that you really enjoyed, but you play other games, for example, maybe you play PUBG or Battlefield or Call of Duty and stuff like that, I might say, you know, wait for it to become a little bit cheaper and buy it then, and then enjoy playing the campaign. But overall, both games are great. The Division 2 is at least as good as the Division now, and if Ubisoft can release the Division 2 in a state that the Division was near the end of its life cycle, and then improve on that after that, and I think we're going to be in for a real treat indeed. And I definitely will be buying the Division 2, but I won't be buying it at release, because I'm not playing full price for this game, because there's no point for me paying that premium for a game that I won't have enough time to put lots of time into at the moment, because I've got Battlefield to play, we've got Firestorms coming out, there's still plenty of life left in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, but I will be buying it when it goes cheaper, and enjoying fighting my way around the streets of Washington, just as I really enjoyed fighting my way around the streets of New York. Anyway, I'll leave you with a little bit more gameplay. Put your questions and comments down below. Of course, if you're still around the release of this video, the beta is free to download and try, so give it a go on PlayStation, Xbox or PC. But again, put your comments down below. If you've got any questions, put them down there too. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe. Thank you very much, and I will see you again soon.
I'm going for their flank! Friendly down! Come on out!
Warning. Temperature rising. Elevated levels of carbon dioxide detected.
Uh-oh. Sounds like there's a fire in the building. I'll start feeding Isaac the structural blueprints in case you need them.
Calculating route to emergency fire suppression system controls.